Back with another video, y'all. I figure I'll share something with y'all right quick before I lay it down. I was just rapping with one of my partners, and the subject came up regarding the street politics and hoods and gangs, and what's really the difference between a hood and a gang. And we was kind of going back and forth, and I figure I'll share a little something with y'all as far as what I think the difference between a hood and a gang is. Now, for one, that's a trick question because it depends on what city you from. And let me break it down. Where the city I'm from, Oakland, traditionally, well, primarily is hoods. Now, recent, you got the youngsters clicking up, but not all the youngsters, but some clicking up, but primarily it's hoods. Now, how do we do hoods? For one, what hood you from is pretty much by default. You didn't even. It's kind of like what race you is. You didn't ask to choose what race you was, so you didn't ask to choose what hood you from. It's just pretty much wherever your parents or whoever raised you live, and that's where you was born. And we can tell by what school you went to. That's the easiest general rule of thumb. What school you went to. Now, of course, again, the difference between, in my opinion, the hood and the gang is also in the hood, being that you was born there and raised there, we can trace your roots pretty much in the hood. So if you somewhere else abroad and you from you say you from this place or whatever, somebody, of course, do you know this person, you know that person, and y'all start going back to the day, or oh, okay, that's my uncle, or I'm such and such son, or whoever, my sister. So y'all get what I'm talking about. So that's the difference between the hood. That's where you from. Whereas a gang, and this is where it get tricky because, and I explain that, but whereas in a gang, you don't necessarily have to be raised in that area to be down with that gang. Now, I'm gonna take it to a city like LA. Now, of course, in they gang banging, they're a lot more developed. So, and this is where I'm getting at. Of course, LA being having gangs, because like Chicago, they also had hoods. But being their development is further along, naturally these hoods is going to be associated with the gangs. So in the case of LA, not only they had gangs, but the gangs start organizing. So again, now you got hoods. So it's just a Crip hood or a Blood hood, and so that's eventually, in my opinion, the natural development of gangs, probably. But then again, it may depend varies on what city you from, because again, like in my city, we got hoods. Now, of course, a lot of the youngsters is clicking up and banging, quote unquote, but it's hoods too. Not all the youngsters is banging. So you gotta, it's some of everything going on in Oakland right now. You got banging and you still got hoods. Now, I made a statement in another video saying a lot of the hoods that didn't last through the dope game, being that in Oakland, the dope pushed the line after the Black Panthers and not gang banging. Your hood was pretty much associated with dope, with drugs. You sold something. So now if your hood ain't really selling nothing too much, it ain't really popping. So naturally a lot of them youngsters is clicking up. And that's not in all instances. And then that takes it back to when I said what school you went to. Because this is another thing. Like I said, we ask somebody where they from, or when I meet somebody from another city and they out here, and I'm like, oh, where you from? Where you from? They say, oh, okay, what hood you from? Oh, I don't claim nothing. People, we used to look at them like, oh, you don't claim nothing. Like, well, like, where is you from? Like, what school you went to? Because you got to be from somewhere, and that's really at the root of it. It's being who you say you are. But a lot of times, really in this day and age, in my opinion, the youngsters, I mean, people just want to be down. So, but at the same time, in my city, when somebody say they from somewhere, okay, what school you went to? And but again, not in all cases that makes a difference because there's a lot of people from other places that didn't go to that particular school in that hood or the hood they from or they claim. Hell, I went to hella schools. But again, I mentioned you can be from somewhere and still be getting down somewhere else for whether through family or affiliation or whatever. But in my opinion, y'all, that's the general rule of thumb when it comes to hoods and gangs. Again, like I said, the hood is pretty much by default where you from. I mean, that's how we go by my city. Now, gangs, it can be like that as well. You can just be born into, especially in a city like LA or Chicago, that's far developed. You gonna naturally, if you're born in a particular neighborhood, it's gonna either be a Crip or Blood hood or VLGD hood. So you naturally gonna be affiliated with that. Whether you active or representing it or banging it or not. And again, that's how we do it in my city. So you can be a square. And okay, well, what school you went to? Oh, you went to this school. Oh, okay, you from there. You grew up there, even though you're not with the politics, so to speak, with the shit, as we say. But still, though, that's where you from. So that's how we can tell, in the general rule of thumb, where somebody from. That's what school they went to. But again, as far as in cities that's gang banging, that can vary. And it can mean the same thing as well, but it can vary, and it's going to depend on your city. So you can let me know in the comment how y'all do get down in y'all city. Do y'all got hoods and gangs, or hoods and gangs? And is it the same? Because I feel it's like that in everywhere. Every city where it's just real hoods. When you ask somebody where you from, and if they be like, "Oh man, I don't claim it," you kind of look at them like, what you mean?" You know. But again, as we get older, you come across people that's solid. That of course we grown now, but that is something we look at. But then again, you don't have to necessarily be from nowhere to be raised somewhere. You know. But again, what schools you went to may kind of dictate, not all the time, but it will. But yeah, man, y'all let me know what y'all think, man. I'm just rambling on again, man. I'm about to shut it down for a minute, man, and continue on my hustle horse, man. Bad News Brown breaking it down for y'all. Peace.